Hey, what's going on, friends, family? My name's Skylands. Welcome to the channel. Today, I'm going to be talking about my picks for probably the most hyped, most exciting upcoming pixel art games for, I don't know, I guess the rest of this year, maybe some next year. But if you guys actually haven't seen some games that maybe should be on the list because they're still up and coming, I probably mentioned them on last year's video or the year before that. Some of those games still coming out, so actually go back, check those videos out too. A lot of really cool artistic games, but yeah, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. We don't need to spend too much time on it. It's games that are pixel art, they're indie AF, and they just look cool as hell. You want to play some cool as hell games? I think actually this batch is really pretty much a love letter to a lot of nostalgic games from our childhood. And if you're somebody who's actually up and coming producing an indie game, let me help you publish your game, trailers, or maybe even develop your website for you. Links in the description, or email me at skylandshore@gmail.com. But without further ado, you probably want to just see some cool stuff. I got it for you, top 10 upcoming pixel art games. Okay, so the first game that I want to talk about here at number 10 is Bushiden. So I actually don't have much experience with many side-scrolling beat-em-up or action-adventure style games, maybe like ActRaiser on Super Nintendo. Totally missed Ninja Gaiden. In fact, my only experience in Ninja Gaiden was watching some band do, like, they played the music while somebody speed ran it. I mean, it was actually pretty interesting, the covers, but regardless, this is something that I'm interested in because I haven't really played this genre, and I know there's actually been quite a number of indie games that have been emulating that style of gameplay coming out recently. Need to check those out too, but this is one that finally caught me, off guard, where it's like, okay, I'm finally in the mood. I got a little hole in my backlog that I'm kind of just interested in some side-scrolling action beat 'em up. Now, I know there's a bunch of Metroidvanias out there in the world, and this game also seems to be taking that slot as well, except it's ninjas and cyborgs. I know there's like some hidden gem, like Super Nintendo game with a cyber ninja. Anybody remember the name of that? I need to find that one again. But regardless, old games are new games too, but also new games are new games too. This one just happens to look retro and definitely seems to be catching, I don't know, the heartstrings of people who are interested in these style of games. But also what's really cool about games like this is for people like me who did miss the renaissance of these games originally, well, now we can experience all that good stuff, but maybe like without some of the bad retro clunkiness. And yeah, now we get it in a new pretty package. So yeah, Bushiden, check it out, guys. Okay, next up is a genre that I have a tremendous amount of experience in, and that's just gonna be Mega Man, okay? Mega Man X 1 through infinity. I actually still need to play like the zeros and stuff, but whatever. Holy crap, this game looks super cool. I love the gimmick that it's Mega Man with punching. You punch really hard. I think the movement and the mobility mechanics taken from some other like retro platformers and stuff like that thrown in there, it looks so exciting. It just looks really hyperactive, which was really kind of the OG point of Mega Man, at least X. I think this game is really emulating Mega Man X. Just be anime AF, ridiculous AF. And I think, to an extent, it is really cheesy. It looks super cheesy. I'm pretty sure it's completely self-aware, but I've got a feeling a lot of speedrunners are eyeballing this game real hard, heavy breathing. I think this game could be a ridiculous spectacle to actually watch. So if you think Mega Man speedruns are fun, the game called Berserk Boy might just have an absolute freaking chance at being a good speedrunning game too. All right, next up we have an isometric action RPG that's, pretty much it's just a Souls-like ISO game, and that's going to be Eldest Souls. Now, I am actually going to get pre-access to this game. I'm going to be covering it, probably do a full Let's Play. I just have a feeling I'm really going to appreciate this game because I played Dark Mouse, I played Titan Souls, I played a few other Soulsian style games that are isometric, and I think this game, I've already played the demo even on this channel, really kind of sings to me. I just love big old bosses with a big old sword, and let's just duke it out. Let's see what's what's gonna happen from there. And I think it's just simple as that. Now, I really appreciate the sort of grimy, dirty look to everything. It just got that flair, that esoteric, like, pixel art flair to it. Everything is a little bit morbid, but I really do like the boss arenas that seem to be displayed here. You guys can see from the gameplay, but in the end, do you guys like a dark setting with a guy with a big sword fighting big bosses? And I think it's just as simple as that. Probably going to be a very short game, but in the end, will it be memorable? Likely, if it's anything like the few other Souls-like games I've played, they seem to emulate, you know, the vibe that this game is going for as well. So I'm just looking forward to playing it maybe a few times over with the RPG mechanics, but overall, big sword, big bosses, gonna slap them in the face. And yeah, actually, I'm gonna ask you a question. What is your favorite boss rush style game? Let me know in the comments below. Next up on the list, we have, I think I can describe as steampunk Castlevania. I mean, just very clearly the inspiration is there. Even, I don't know, like the dialogue options and apparently the narrative, I think is probably going to take some beats from Castlevania, but clearly the gameplay, right? Just the pure action combat, the slashing and everything. But then, yeah, kind of like the unique twist to everything, the selling point is that it's steampunk. Now, steampunk, pixel art, Castlevania, Metroidvania, 2D platformer, side-scroller, arcade-style, beat-em-up action game, I don't know, whatever. It's got a whole lot of tags that kind of just appeal to the nostalgia in me. Now, similarly to a lot of games on this list, it seems to be really paying homage to its inspiration. I think that's fine, especially with the world setting being like a giant steampunk city. And of course, because we are rating on like the art, the pixel art, yeah, steampunk pixel art, that definitely is going to rate a little bit higher. But I do hope that it is more than just like steampunk Castlevania. To be honest though, just going to end to cap this one. I actually haven't played Symphony of the Night. I know I need to. Okay, I'm going to add that to the backlog. Okay, this one's brutal, but at the same time, it's so stylish. I don't know, there's something comic book about the way the pixel art is drawn. This is a really weird looking game that I think is coming from an era of like modern pixel art, where the other games on this list were extremely nostalgic and very like set and templated from like what inspired it. There Is No Light reminds me of like Ubermosh or some of like the really like cheap indie games that are really fun and really fantastic, or maybe even some browser games. This art is just something a little bit twisted. Anyways, brutal action, isometric, just ridiculousness. Honestly, like I wouldn't doubt if this was straight up inspired by games like Ubermosh or, you know, what I've been talking about, these modern action pixel art games. And it looks cool. It looks like it's gonna be a fun like hack and slash boss rush, but at the same time, incredibly horrific experience. Like this looks really morbid. And one thing that I really love, especially in this era of like PlayStation style graphics and really scratchy pixel art, it works so well to enhance the horror and the gruesome or grotesqueness of everything, the sort of ambiguity of what exactly you're looking at. God, it just looks so great. You know, games like the new Carrion and stuff like that. I think There Is No Light is going to be added right up there to, like, I don't know, some of the best indie little games that's horror and at the same time action-packed. Now, this one is also slated to, I mean, considered a Souls-like, so I don't know how you guys feel about that. All the Souls-likes, but in the end, I think this one is just a little bit more unique compared to the others that wear their inspiration so much more on their sleeve in every single way. Let's talk about A Space For The Unbound. Now, this is a type of game that I normally would never put in a list, especially like if it's a visual novel or something like that. I don't know, it's kind of easy to make really good art, and then like how much of a game is it? But this got really amazing reviews for its demo even. And there is actually some gamification with this game, and it looks like, I don't know, so it's just kind of like a slice of life adventure. I think that's pretty clear what it is, and I've never experienced a game like this. I think that a lot of you guys haven't either, and yet it's pixel art, which is weird making this list. It's not really that high fidelity, and at the same time, it's not too nostalgic, and it's really kind of almost childish and sort of comic booky. It just, I don't know, it's a little cheesy, but at the same time, there is definitely a charm in really it being its own thing, its own flavor, its own style, and I am kind of interested in just going on this sort of like cute, wacky, almost adventure. And one thing that's kind of, I don't know, a bonus point here is that we normally don't get too many games coming from this region of the world, or at least a world setting inspired by it, which is being rural Indonesia. So that sounds really awesome. I guess it's basically a coming of age story, and then it's also the world is ending. So it goes from like mundane everyday life to wacky supernatural things. And you know what, I'm along for the ride. I want to meet these characters, I want to meet these people, and I want to kind of absorb myself in a culture that is very distant to mine. So what do you guys think about these story-driven adventures? Let me know in the comments below. Okay, so honestly, I put this game on the list like just instantaneously. Like I just didn't care really the true depth of this game. I was like, dude, this just looks cool as fuck. Anyways, so we're talking about, oh, man, this game, No Place for Bravery. Cool title. I think the art is just really interesting. Now, pixel art isn't always about how many pixels you can cram in the screen. In fact, it's the opposite. What you can do with so little. And I think this game is just really expressive and definitely maybe almost terribly unique. It's kind of a little bit bloody. A lot of the games on this list are, but I really like that they're kind of selling the game as like it's a brutal, it's a hero-esque 2D style combat, isometric of course, and apparently the game is really not about heroes or anything like that. It's definitely going to be a darker adventure itself, and you can tell probably from the gameplay, the world setting, or some of the art, bony and bloody and grim and empty, and at the same time, I don't know. Apparently you're just, I don't know, a guy looking for his lost daughter, and that's pretty much it. You're on a mission, find your daughter in a world that's insane. Now frankly, a lot of the games that look like this, maybe play like this, they have like just incredibly vague stories, but I kind of do like the hook that it's like, okay, it's a person looking for their daughter, and that just kind of grounds really the whole experience. It might even have an opportunity for a moral at the end, which is pretty awesome, because a lot of these games are like, there's hard bosses and it's like scary and like you beat it and then it's like, okay, that's over. But it is really cool when there is something a little bit more, and even entwined with the Ludo narrative. That'd be pretty great. So anyways, I'm interested in No Place for Bravery and just pretty much every game that looks like this, which is a lot on the list. But yeah, you should play it too, probably. Next game's kind of hype, okay? For real, like really. And this game actually launches, I think, the day that this video comes out, at least in early access, but it's still up and coming, you know, it's still early access, okay? Black Skylands. Now, I'll do a full Let's Play or whatever, multiple gameplays of Black Skylands for sure, because I am so excited. Now, the pixel art graphics just look fun. It just looks fun, you know, top down, and yet it's still like a sandbox simulation game. We don't get many of those. There's like Noida, but anyways, this is like flying airships, steampunk, freaking grappling hooks, such a win in my book. And definitely like, you know, let's fight giant monsters, whatever. Other people, pirate people, you know, like airship combat, shotguns running around, running and gunning. I don't know, it just looks stupid and fun. But there's actually some really cool stuff in there too that's a little bit slower paced, such as like you're going to be building, expanding, and protecting your aerial base. Yeah, you're gonna be like, there's gonna be a workshop and laboratory, there's gonna be gardens and ranches and things on there as well. You're gonna be capturing other territories as well. You have to explore an entire open world while doing all of this. And apparently there is a story kind of like strung throughout it. So this is a pretty ambitious project, apparently by a small team. That's why it's early access. Still up and coming, but I think this one looks pretty good. I believe I have a code in my email. I'm gonna jump into it and have some fun. And if you want to join me for the run, you know what to do. Hit the sub. Death Trash Early Access, coming August 5th, okay, but I've already played the demo. If you guys haven't, you should have checked it out. You missed out, because this was one that everyone on Reddit and all these forums and YouTube videos were like, yo, Death Trash is kind of neat. So this is basically, okay, it's an action RPG, I guess. Technically, it's an adventure RPG. It seems like it's actually really driven by narrative to an extent. Like there's how you interact with different people, the choices that you make with them, maybe a little bit. But also looking at the combat and the overall movement of the game, it's really more almost strategic. This isn't a tactics game technically, but it's almost like real-time tactics. It's like tactical action RPG goodness. Now this game is hard. There are different difficulties, but when I played the demo, it was like brutal. But not only that, but if you guys love sci-fi books like All Tomorrows or something like that, just really brutal, like gory sci-fi with like robots and like meat squid monsters and like really esoteric grand concepts that just break your brain so you don't even think about it. You just run in, shoot a shotgun, and slap some things in the face. Yeah, I don't know. That's Death Trash. It's just a bunch of ridiculous bullshit that might actually have some pseudo-intellectual stuff and things going on under the hood. As for RPGs, I don't know, I really want to see where this game goes. I loved the demo. I'll be playing this game as well. And really, I'm gonna be completely honest. The main reason is because my favorite type of monster is like the meat monster, if that makes sense. Like The Thing is the best monster movie ever. I love manga like Knights of Sidonia, you know, all that good stuff. You know, the Infested from Halo or like in Warframe, that sci-fi trope of like the meat monster, the infestation, and then what can come from that, the hive mind, blah, 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 blah. That shit's cool. Death Trash looks really interesting to me. Very punkish with its art. I think you guys are gonna have a lot of fun with the gameplay too. And lastly, I have a game that really in this list, no proper order, I've got a game called Loot River, right? So this is a procedurally generated, like labyrinthian dungeon crawling roguelike that apparently is really focused on this like spatial block shifting, like slide block sort of element, which kind of reminds me of like a mobile game, but you're going to be doing that and then you're going to be slapping monsters in the face. The block shifting mechanic, it actually is more reminiscent of the OG Rogue, which was turn-based. So an action roguelike normally doesn't make sense. You normally call those roguelites, but in this case, okay, anyways, I'm not going to go pixel art. What even is pixel art? I know this is weird because this is clearly a 3D game that then has like filters to make it like real-time look like pixel art. The menus are drawn in pixel art, as well as I believe the backgrounds are pixel arted. Do you guys think this belongs on the list or not? I don't know, but I think it's stylistically really interesting. I think a lot of you guys would want to play this game, and it's just also pretty freaking weird, you know? Like it looks like a cute, you know, cheap game that you can jump into and have a good time with that just looks style AF. So yeah, let me know in the comments below, what do you guys think? I know a lot of these games have like a similar vibe, but which one are you going to be playing? I think Loot River is going to be one on the list for me. I'm playing all these, but just saying. But yeah, guys, that's going to be it. I had to pick 10. There was actually a bunch of games that I would have loved to have mentioned. If you want to throw them out in the comments, of course, you always are free to do that. Or join me in the Discord and debate me if I should have mentioned a game or not. But that's pretty much it. I hope you guys had a lot of fun. And when you finally pick up one of these games, you know, especially if you didn't know it existed before, I hope that's a freaking riot. Hope you guys have fun with that too. But all I can really ask, other than liking and subscribing and YouTube stuff and things, is just keep the hype alive, you know? Yeah, so have a great day. Much love, and I'll see you again next time.